What is it, what the meeting schedule is?
The board meeting schedule?
The TBD.
Oh, yeah, I was gonna make that part of my operations report, Mr. Chairman, that we're working on scheduling that. We should have it scheduled by the end of February. Thank you.
And we post it on the website.
Yeah, oh, yeah, that's just like we did the first time.
Next is the election of officers, so I'm going to turn the gavel over to Mr. Hallenbeck.
Literally. We annually elect our officers, and with that in mind, I will entertain any motion anyone may have on the issue of our officers for 2018.
We'll go. Keep them the same, that's all.
Yeah, well, I make
Is
sure
that a motion?
I'll let him.
I
I defer to Mayor Chicago.
we keep the same, we elect the same officers as 2017.
I second.
And that would be Mr. Fesko as our chairman, Mr. Joyner as our vice chairman, and Mr. Campbell as our treasurer. Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
All in favor indicate such by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Let the record show that unanimously we have re-elected our officers, and I congratulate them, and I will hand the gavel back to our chairman.
Thank you. We'll move on to the consent agenda. Is there any items that any board members would like to take out for additional discussion? If not, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second. It's been a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. We'll move on to the action items from the recommendations from the Fiscal Task Force. First is the 2018 administrative budget. Mr. Hanna?
Thank you, Mr. Sheldrake. I'd like to ask, or Mr. Chairman, I'd like to ask Mr. Sheldrake to give us a brief summary of the 2018 budget consideration.
Thank you, Mr. Hanna, members of the RD board. You see in the packet that that the administrative budget, basically you have the columns are as passed, what we actually spent in 2017, and then the proposals for 2018. I won't delve deeply into, we spent just slightly under about almost exactly what you passed. Our actual expenditures are slightly below that. The proposed budget for 2018, there are a couple of notable items, and you can see in the description out to the right there. First of all, salaries and benefits have gone up or going up as proposed. The reason is because the board approved in June of 2017, but the action has not been taken yet to hire an accountant to have on staff at the RDA. And it's a necessary, very necessary thing with all of the activity that's going on with regard to the rail and financing and so on. The dollars that are built into this are what the state personnel department has given to Sherry and Bill and staff here at the RDA as to what the appropriate salary is and benefits and so on. So that has been built into this budget, and that's what you see in there. Travel and meals up a little bit. There are two items where there's some substantial increase in 2017, and then came back down in 2018 in both the directors and officers insurance and also in professional and consulting services. The expenditure in 2017 accounted for about a year and a half's worth of what was budgeted in 2017. So there were holdover expenditures from 2016 that got paid in 2017. That's the reason why the dollars were up in 2017. They come back down in 2018 because we just want to pay a year's worth, and so that was an issue, not really in terms of the staff. There were some negotiations going on there and so on. But and so the increase overall, if you look at the bottom there, total expense increase in the proposed budget from 2017 is for 2018 over 2017 is 2.6%. So a pretty small increase, and even with adding a staff person, so that's certainly in line with what many state agencies are seeing. So in terms of a reference point, it's probably a pretty small increase. With that, Mr. Chairman, I turn it back to you.
Thank you. Does any board member have any questions for Mr. Sheldrake?
Do we pay the accountant's salary?
I think, Randy, I think that the recommended amount, and of course this will be depending on negotiation, is $90,000 annual, and benefits are in addition to that. And that comes right from state personnel.
Any other questions for Bill? Not, is there a motion to approve the 2018 administrative budget?
Second.
It's been a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Item number 2 is the City of East Chicago, acceptance of a grant request for Phase 3. Bill?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As the board might recall, when we went into a series of projects, primarily on the shoreline, we did them in a phased approach, and so East Chicago has come close to completing the first 2 phases of its shoreline, North Harbor redevelopment project, and they've done some phenomenal things in that area to reposition it for real estate and quality of life and so forth. And so at this time, the city is requesting the advance of the 3rd phase, which is slightly over $8 million request. Our normal process with these is to accept for review and work toward approval at the following meeting. So that's what we anticipate would happen here. I would impose upon one of our board members, Milton Reed, if you would like to add anything about the project status and the 3rd phase and what we can expect to see.
Sure. The project, as far as status, has been going very well for East Chicago. And one of the main things that we are seeing from this revitalization is a true revitalization in aspects of, you have to start and you have to do your demolition, which was a part of the grant, and then you have to look at rebuilding, you have to look at your safety, your cleanliness, and all of these things are really coming together with the revitalization efforts. We have major projects that will get our main thoroughfares to our lake shore, because if you can't get there, what good is it, if you don't have good access? It's confusing, no one goes. The quality of life for the residents and even for the region. We see many, many people now starting to come with the assets and things that we have done, with the projects and the grant funding, that are enjoying the outdoors and enjoying the community. So we look forward the major projects of we continue the revitalization again with our ground routes, significantly Guthrie Street, which is we're revamping all of that. And also I want to mention that because of the revitalization, East Chicago City has been able to leverage other dollars. So right in our other footprint, we have a private developer coming in with over $30 million senior housing, 208 units. That it just helps, because when the developer comes in, they say, well, what have you done for yourselves? Well, you have a balanced budget, you have RDA grant funding and things like that. So very positive impact on the region. And we look forward to our formal approval. We are under design. We have engineers. We'll be letting these projects go in the next week or 2, and then construction we plan to amp up as soon as we can get this settled.
Thank you, sir. With that, is there a motion to accept the grant request for East Chicago Phase 3?
I'd move to accept the request for review, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
There's been a motion and second. Any other comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item number 3 is the City of Hammond acceptance of a grant request. Mr. Hammond?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Again, same format, the acceptance for review, anticipating further action at the next board meeting. This, simply put, is the beginning of a partnership in an immaterial way between the city, the mayor, and the RDA to develop TOD opportunities around the Gateway Station. Originally, there was a design for Chicago Street realignment in that area that did not contemplate transportation-oriented development, so we made suggested changes through our then hired consultant for TOD planning, Farr & Associates. The city agreed to make those changes, but the consequences are there's a small increase in the cost of the realignment project and design for Chicago Street and Hammond of about $125,000. The city is requesting $100,000 from the RDA to leverage the rest of that grant and the remaining aspects of the project. And again, what it really does is facilitate better movement in that area for enhanced TOD value. You want to have plenty of ways to get in and out of the area to develop businesses in that project. Sherry, is there anything that I'm missing?
I think you covered it, Mr. Mayor.
Is there anything?
You covered it.
Okay. So again, we would like to request that the board accept this for staff review to report at the next meeting in anticipation of moving forward with the project.
Make a motion.
A second?
There's been a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Now we'll move on to the project status review, surface transportation and development. Mr. Hanna.
No report at this time, Mr. Chairman.
Gary Airport, any report?
None at this time, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Joyner, shoreline redevelopment.
None, Mr. Chairman.
RDA operations. Ms. Zilla.
Sure, Mr. Chairman, thank you. So I'd just like to give a really quick update on the convention center study. It's still ongoing, and all-person interviews are complete, and the phone interviews are ongoing. Altogether, we should have about between 100 and 115 local stakeholder interviews completed. So that would conclude phase one. So phase one is almost complete with the study. The next phase includes site analysis, preliminary construction costs and operations analysis, economic cost-benefit analysis, and all the funding analysis is part of phase two, which is the final phase of the study. And the study is on schedule and expected to be complete in May 2018. So that's the convention center update, and I can answer any questions that the board might have. The other update that I had was for calendar 2017 financial and internal control audit. London Whitty will begin the RDA's audit for both of those at the end of March, and we hope to have the audit report ready for the board on about mid-April, around that time. And our policies and procedures and employee handbook, staffing consultants are currently reviewing both documents, and we hope to have our review and recommendation to the board by our next board meeting. And the transit development districts, which was already talked about, we do hope to have the steering committee meet and have that scheduled by the end of February. So that concludes my report, Mr. Chairman. I'm happy to answer any questions that the board might have.
Thank you. Any questions for Sherry? We'll move on to unfinished business. Is there any unfinished business to come before the board? Any new business to come before the board? In your packet is the board planning calendar. With that, we'll move on to public comments. So, Mr. Davidson.
Wow, that's a fast meeting. So there's a lot to talk about, I guess, here. There's no information in the packet on agenda item number 3. That was something of, I think, great public interest. So the fact that it's on the consent agenda and there was no additional information is very telling to me as to how you choose to conduct business here at the RDA. So, you know, the people, I think, are going to speak out about this. What we need to ensure is that they know who is responsible for all the dollars that are wasted here. So Governor Holcomb is going to have to answer for all of this, the things that happen behind closed doors, the things that go on here. So everything that you do here, just keep in mind that Governor Holcomb is the one who's going to have to answer for this because you represent him. You directly represent the governor of the state of Indiana, who cannot get elected without the people of Lake County voting for him. So let's hope that people wake up and realize what's going on here and who's responsible for it. With regard to the stakeholders, I guess you're having another luncheon tomorrow, another bus tour tomorrow. Don't care what the people think, I guess, because they overwhelmingly don't support a convention center and the new tax, which you're pushing. But you'll continue to do that. No one ever believes your cost-benefit analysis. They never turn out to be true. That's about all I have. Thank you.
Mr. Nowacki.
Yes, good morning, directors. My name is Jim Nowacki. I'm a resident of the city of Gary, and
I think I have more tenure on this board than anyone other than Mr. Joyner. I wanted to talk about public comment because I think public comment is important. And I take great pride in the fact that for as many years as you guys have been in existence, I've had questioned and complained and objected to a lot of the things that this board has done. And I'm very gratified that at the end of the day, the things that I complained about, the things that I objected to, have all come to be perfectly true. For instance, the RDA has spent $50 million of $200 million on the Gary Chicago Airport. I complained, I says, that's wasted money. Today, the Gary Chicago Airport is the second busiest airport in all of Calumet Township. Can you imagine that the little Maryville Airport, with none of the resources that we've wasted at the Gary Chicago Airport, actually has more operations? I complained about Marquette Park and the money we wasted, almost $28 million. Way too much for that project. And now we find the city wants to transfer the park over to Meridian Development for some Navy Pier style development. In other words, the money you just wasted. I want to talk about the money for transportation, the $13 million you wasted on a phony project to put the Gary public transportation out of business, so that you could instead install some sort of county-wide waste of money. Well, the Gary transportation system is still in place, but the money you wasted, $13 million, is all gone. These are things that I've complained about for all of the years that you've been in existence, and all of the things that it's almost like some sort of prescience that I have, but it's really not. What it really is common sense, and that's the whole purpose of public comment. Common sense. In other words, you guys have all got your agenda, but in the final analysis, it's not expensive consultants. If we don't use common sense to make just normal decisions, everyone understands $28 million didn't have to be wasted at Marquette Park. Everyone understands that the Gary Chicago Airport was a waste of $200 million. Everyone understands that if you build on a system that you already have, that's better than throwing the system out and trying to start anew. So I'm going to, I probably will outlast many of, I think Mr. Joyner will be here forever, but I know you guys are going to come and go. I'm going to be here for as long as I can. I'm going to be complaining about the money you're wasting over and over and over again, and I'm going to take great satisfaction in being correct, right, and undeniably common sense at this meeting. Thank you.
Julie O'Connor?
I have nothing further other than the questions I already asked. Thank you.